All right, hi 333, it's Mrs. Lee. This is the lesson for April 15th. It's this lesson that says transformations, lines, and parabolas. Walty says hi, by the way. All right, so once again, if you don't have these, that's fine. Just go ahead and follow along as best you can. I will have the completed notes up on line 2. All right, so for the first one, it says y equals x. So that means that every value of x is equal to the y value. So what that means is if the x value is -3, that means the y value is -3. If the x value is -2, the y value is -2. So on like that until you end up with these values. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to graph this. So you're going to end up with -3, -3, -2, -2, so on like that. And you should end up with a perfect diagonal line that looks like this. Okay, so this is going to be our basis for all of the lines that we're transforming. If you guys remember, transformations are translations, rotations, reflections, and dilations, but that's not considered a rigid transformation. So what we're going to be learning the next 3 days, thank you, Walter. He just snored. What we're going to be learning the next 3 days is how do you move a line up and down, right and left? How do you move a parabola up and down, right and left? Okay. Or stretching it wider or making it smaller, all right? So our next one says we're going to do y equals x plus 1. So we're going to take the x value and add 1 to it. So -3 plus 1 is -2. -2 plus 1 is -1. -1 plus 1 is 0. So on, so on. All right, so then I'm going to end up with a line with the point at -3, -2. -2, -1, -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay. All right, so I end up with a line that looks like this. And the question below says, what happened to the graph of the line when 1 was added to x? So notice, originally, this goes through the origin. Now, this is 1 above, so it shifted up 1. So I'm going to write that down. The line moved up 1. All right, next one. I see I've got y equals x minus 2. I'm already starting to predict, okay, or sorry, x minus 1. I'm already starting to predict what I think is going to happen. Well, when I added 1, when I did y equals x plus 1, it moved up 1. So I'm thinking y equals x minus 1 might move down 1. So let's go ahead and let's figure that out. So -1 minus 1 is -4. Or sorry, -3 minus 1 is -4. -2 minus 1 is -3. -1 minus 1 is -2. And I keep going with this pattern till I get this table. All right, now I'm going to graph these points. So -3, -4, -2, -3, so on, so on, so on, like that. All right, and I see that my prediction was correct. I did have the line move down 1 space from the origin, like the original. So on the question says, what happened to the graph of the line when 1 was subtracted from x? I'm going to say it moved down 1. Awesome. Okay, next one. I see I'm going to be getting into quadratics because it says y equals x squared, which means it's to the second power, which I know is going to make the shape of a parabola. So let's plug this in. -3 squared. -3 squared is 9. -2 squared is 4. -1 squared is 1. 0 squared, 1 squared, 2 squared, and 3 squared. So I end up with these numbers right here. I'm going to graph those points. -3, 9. -2, 4. 1, 1, 0, 0, do, 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 do. And I was correct. I do end up with a parabola. And I see that the vertex is at the origin at 0, 0. Right there. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen now. If I made a prediction, I'm doing x squared plus 1 this time. So I'm thinking, okay, well, when I did y equals x plus 1, it moved up 1. So maybe my parabola is going to move up 1. Let's see if I'm right. So I'm going to have to do -3 squared, which is 9, plus 1 is 10. Negative 2 squared is 4, plus 1 is 5. Negative 1 squared is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. 0 squared is 0, plus 1 is 1. All right, I keep doing that, and I end up with these numbers. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to graph them. So negative 3, 10, negative 2, 5, negative 1, 2, 0, 1, so on. And it looks like I was correct. I do see that I have the same parabola, and it has just moved up one space. All right, so then I'll look at the next one. What happens if I've got y equals x squared minus 1? All right, so negative 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 1 is 8. Negative 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. Negative 1 squared is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 squared is 0. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. All right, I keep going with this pattern. And I end up with these points. All right, so negative 3, 8. Negative 2, 3. Negative 1, 0. 1, negative 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. All right, and I see that I was correct. I did end up with a parabola that moved down one space. Make sure you're filling these in these two open spaces. So I'm going to write down moved down 1. And I forgot to write it up above, so I'm going to say moved up 1. All right. Okay, we're now on the last page. So it says, what do you expect to find? What do you expect the graph of y equals x squared plus 2 in comparison to y equals x squared? Well, since I'm adding 2, I'm thinking I'm going to move the parabola up 2 spaces. So that's my guess. So it will move up 2. Okay, so let's check this out. Negative 3 squared is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. Negative 4 squared, or negative 2 squared is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. Negative 1 squared is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 0 squared is 0, plus 2 is 2, so on like that. I end up with these points right here. I'm going to graph them. Negative 3, 11. Negative 2, 6. Negative 1, 3. 0, 2, so on, so on, so on. And I do see that I was correct, that I did have a parabola that just moved up 2 spaces. So it says, were you correct? I'm going to say yes. All right, last one. I see it says, what do you expect it to look like for y equals x squared minus 3? So am I thinking up or down? Since it's minus, I think it's going to go down, and I think it's going to go down 3. So it will move down 3. All right, so negative 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 3 is 6. Negative 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. 0 squared is 0. Minus 3 is negative 3. All right, I go ahead and I finish up the rest of the numbers, and I see that I get these. All right, now I'm going to graph them. So negative 3, 6. Negative 2, 1. Negative 1, negative 2. And it looks like I am correct. It does look like a parabola that simply moved down 3 spaces. So I'm going to say yes. All right. The last part is an exit slip, so go ahead and complete that. You will see my answer underneath the completed notes. And there's homework. If you want to do it, go ahead. If you feel like it's too much, that is fine. All right. Thank you. Bye.